So as with a lot of these old cars that we get in here, we run into fuel system problems because they sit. And this car was definitely one of those that sat for a long time. And first thing I discovered was we didn't have fuel pressure, so we didn't have a fuel pump running. So one of my tricks is I just have a fuel pump that I keep around here, a 40 PSI fuel pump. And I usually just wire it in, and then I'll supply it with some fuel from a gas can so we can try and start it up. On this one, because I've run into this before with these Datsuns, the injectors will stick after the fuel lays in them for a long time. And normally what most places would do, they just replace all the injectors. And the injectors are getting hard to find, and they're a little pricey. So one of the devices I have that I've kept since the 80s, I've got this old, I think I bought this thing in 1989. This is an OTC monitor with a multi-tester. And one of the things that this can do is this can actually run an injector test where it will click the injectors so you can see if the injector actually works or not. So first thing you would do with the injector is we would unplug the injector and we'd ohm it out and we would see if the coil was good, which it is. This one's 3 ohms of resistance. And I just know from experience, these Nibidenso injectors, that's usually the case. That's usually where they're at, is 3 ohms. So this one checks out, right? So we've got our, we've got continuity, so the coil of the injector is actually good. So then I'll put the multi-tester on it. And all this does is it provides a pulse that we can test the injector. So we've got options on the screen. I've got the injector pulse with at 1.5 milliseconds, and it'll pulse it for about a half a second. So all we're gonna do is every time we hit the bump it button, you can hear the injector will actually click. So none of them were clicking, but then since I'm able to do this, I can tap on the injectors with a little hammer and then keep cycling it until we can break them free. Because what happens is they just get varnished in position with the gasoline that's been sitting in there for years. So I got all 6 injectors running, and we're ready to fire this thing up. So I've got the injectors are all freed up. I've got my fuel source. I'll turn on our ignition. I'll turn on our fuel pump. And then I'm using a remote starter button. Might need to give it a little starting fluid getter. There we go. Got a running car. Not on its own fuel system, but at least we know we got a good engine and we got all the injectors freed up. So there we go. That's usually how we get it started, and then we go from there.